Hello everyone, we're looking at today performance evaluations for decentralized operations. Let's go through a little bit of definition here. You can certainly read this in the chapter, but let me do a little bit of explaining first. The difference between centralized and decentralized operations. If you've got a centralized operation, what you're saying is that all decisions, major decisions about how the business is going to be run are going to be made at one single point. Alright, so that would mean there's one series of maybe directors and CEOs and one major set of bosses making all of the decisions about how a business is going to run. Now this is fine if you've got a medium-sized business, but if you've got a huge business, something like let's say Yum Foods, which is a massive conglomerate, it's not going to make sense for one series of people to make all of the decisions for a really huge business. What's going to make more sense in that situation is to have what's called a decentralized operation. In a decentralized operation, what you do is you still have those main set of people overseeing the entire company, but you're not making the day-to-day, those people are not making the day-to-day decisions. All right, what they have done is they've tasked managers and maybe vice presidents and people of that nature. They've tasked them with running the individual decisions for the company. So mentioning Yum Foods again, I'll use that as my example. Yum Foods is in charge of KFC, Taco Bell, and there's one more. I can't think of it. But they are in charge of 3 major food chains. And what happens here is, one set of people can't be in charge of KFC and Taco Bell and, I'm going to have to look, hang on a second. Pizza Hut. There you go. Okay, so the point is one set of people can't be in charge of all of the decisions for that. So you've got people in charge of Pizza Hut, you've got people in charge of Taco Bell, and you've got people in charge of KFC. And each one of those make the decision about how it is best to run the company. Okay? And from there, they could even be further down where they make more decisions. They could have, the Taco Bell Southwest Division and the Taco Bell Northeast Division. And what it is those divisions would be run pretty much autonomously. They would run their own divisions, and autonomously means that you run it without any major, with all the major decisions being made by yourselves. So when I say that, I mean that the Northeast Division would operate completely independently, for the most part, of the Southwest Division. And that's fine, because maybe the Northeast Division needs certain types of advertising, whereas the Southwest Division would need different types of advertising. I don't know if you've ever been anywhere else in the country and you've noticed that there are times where certain states or certain regions sell products that are different than you would be able to receive at home. So, just speaking for McDonald's, there are certain areas of the country that serve some different items on the McDonald's menu. Maybe I'm just making this up here, but let's say in like the Texas region, they might have something different on the McDonald's menu than something that you would have here in the United States. All right. I'm sorry, United States. I'm thinking foreign. So, I mean New Jersey. Because you'd also have things like foreign divisions. They would be run independently as well. Ultimately, they do all report up to the same people and the same shareholders and the same CEO and bosses and all that kind of the board of directors. But for day-to-day operations, they're run separately. So that's really a decentralized organization. The problem is, for a decentralized organization, if you were the CEO, you would have trouble making day-to-day decisions. What if you didn't like something the Southwest Division was doing, and you're the CEO of the entire company? Well, it's hard to make those changes because you have let them, Southwest, run the way they want to run the Southwest. So it's difficult to step in and pull power away from those people. So when you have that, if you had a centralized organization and you were calling all the shots, then it'd be no big deal to change one or two things about the way a certain branch was running. But if you're talking about it's decentralized, you've pretty much given away most of your power. So that's a little bit more difficult to make any changes when you have a decentralized organization. Some of the good things about a decentralized organization, though, are things are getting done faster. It's a great training ground for people who are manager level and such, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. Maybe they want to step up to the head operations eventually someday, and they're basically in charge of their region. So if they're doing a good job in charge of the region, it'll get them promoted to a higher level. It's almost as like if you're in charge of a region, that you're in charge, you almost have your own company because you're making all the decisions for running that company. So it allows management to learn to operate independently, to pretty much run the business as they see fit. Within, of course, the guidelines of the company. It's not as if KFC is going to start selling, I don't know, quarter pounders. But, overall, they do have the right to run the business how they want to run the business. And of course that helps too with the running of the business because they're the ones who answer all the day-to-day questions. They're the ones who deal with all the day-to-day stuff. One more disadvantage of decentralization, this is kind of interesting, is what happens is that one company might operate against another. Now, I was talking about Yum Foods earlier. Well, Yum Foods, as I said again, is in charge of Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and KFC. Well, KFC, of course, is known for the chicken. Well, Pizza Hut, I think it was Pizza Hut, not Taco Bell. I'm pretty sure Pizza Hut decided they were going to start selling chicken. And KFC got mad and they said, hey, we're the ones in charge of chicken, not you guys. So what happened there was they actually started advertising campaigns against one another. Okay, these are two companies that go up to the same, they're both owned by Yum Foods, but they started an advertising war with one another, saying, how KFC should mind their own business. No, I'm sorry, KFC was saying Pizza Hut should mind its own business and stay out of chicken because they're the ones who do chicken best. I don't know what Pizza Hut was saying back, but the point was they did have an advertising war at one point, which is pretty much ridiculous. Okay, and that's because, you've got these people, the people in charge of KFC are different than the people that are in charge of Pizza Hut. And they don't really, they're concerned about how their business is doing. They're not 100% as concerned with how Yum Foods overall is doing. They're worried about how well they are doing. So with that, you've got disadvantages there. And decentralization may also have duplicate assets expenses. So, you're probably going to have an entire, say, human resources department in KFC. You're going to have another human resources department in Taco Bell, and another one in Pizza Hut. All right, so with that, you have a duplication of a lot of different areas. Okay, so let's talk for a second about responsibility accounting. As you can read here, there are three major types of accounting that we're going to deal with in these decentralized operations. There's cost centers, profit centers, and investment centers. And it's kind of like, what do you have responsibility for? So what I mean by that is, let's look at what a cost center would be. A cost center manager only has responsibility for controlling costs. All right, so one manager is not going to be in charge of everything. Certain managers are going to be in charge of different areas. So an example here might be, maybe you've got a manager in charge of purchasing. And that manager's job is to go out there and purchase the best products he can for the best price he can. What that purchasing manager has no control over is maybe how much employees are paid. That would be something handled by the hiring manager. All right, so if you needed employees to be making, you expected employees to be making $9 an hour, but instead they're making $10 an hour, you've got a direct labor variance there, just a little bit from the previous chapter. But what you're looking at with this is you're saying, what does that manager have responsibility for? So if the prices are too high on the products you're buying, your cost of goods are too high, then the person you're going to ask about that is you're going to ask the hiring manager. I'm sorry, the purchasing manager. If maybe your cost of labor is higher than you expected it to be, then you're not going to go to the purchasing manager. That would make no sense. You would go to the manager in the human resources department. Okay, so the idea here is that when you're trying to look at these accounting reports that we're going to look at in a few minutes, you have to go to the right person to ask the right questions. You can't just go to any old manager. You've got to go to the right manager to get your questions answered. Okay, so